Good evening, everybody. It's your boy JC here. I'm continuing my series on the scariest teams I have seen in rugby. Okay. Now I'm going to touch on the Irish. I'm not doing a specific era. Look, it's going to be the more recent era. But I'm going to start off. I'm actually going to start where they were building towards where they currently are, which is the year 2011. At that point, you had the likes of O Driscoll, Ronan Gara. Those are explained for them. Johnny Sexton was still. It feels weird to say because Johnny Sexton's so great. But Johnny Sexton was still understudy for Ronan O'Gara. Okay? The year 2011 wasn't much of a great year. It didn't see much. The 2011 Six Nations, Ireland lost 25-22 to France, which was their first match played at the Viva Stadium, which actually now is a fortress for this team. Okay, and they also lost to Wales, where during that match, Ronan O'Gara became the first Irishman to reach 1,000 career points. Ireland's 24-8 win over England. O Driscoll scored his 25th try to set a Six Nations record for tries scored by player. Okay, in the 2012 Six Nations Championship, Ireland finished third overall, which was an improvement from the previous season. And Ireland's 2012 tour included a 22-19 loss, followed by a 16-0 thrashing by the Kiwis. Okay, now people are most probably wondering, how is this the start of something special for the Irish of where they are now? Well, to answer your question, guys, at that point, if you told me that Ireland would be number 2 in the world, I would have laughed at you right now. Okay? Actually, I would have told, oh, okay, look, I take rugby seriously. But I would have taken that as a joke. Okay? When Joe Schmidt announced that he was going to coach the Irish from the year 2013, his tenure started off with the end-of-year union tests, where Ireland already showed improvement from their usual mid-performance team, where they only lost 24-22 to the All Blacks, and having led throughout the match, meaning the All Blacks only took the lead at the end. Okay, Ireland opened the 2014 Six Nations Championship with wins over Scotland and Wales. Now note, in the year 2014, Wales were already becoming a force that they were in Warren Gatland's era. Okay, Ireland then lost 10-13 to England. Then Ireland won their next match against Italy, and they also beat France 22-20 in the final round to claim the Six Nations title. In that November, Ireland beat South Africa and Australia. Okay. Now please note, the November internationals, that is basically the start, it's a start of their Six Nations. It's a start of, it's the Six Nations warm-ups, okay? Ireland beat the first match of their season. They beat South Africa 29-15. They beat Australia 26-23. They were also the first team to beat South Africa in a November international while South Africa were coached by Heineke Meyer. Okay. And then they beat Australia 26-23. Ireland then retained the 2015 Six Nations. Okay. Now, does this sound anything like the team they were 4 years prior in the year 2011? No, it doesn't. Okay. So in the 2015 Six Nations Championship, Ireland retained it. Okay. And became Six Nations champions for the second year running. Only on point difference. Okay. This followed wins against Wales, Scotland. This was followed up by wins over Wales and Scotland in World Cup warm-up matches. And during the 2015 World Cup, Ireland briefly reached their highest position of second in the world rankings. Prior to that, Ireland's highest world ranking was 6th. Okay. In World Rugby rankings, Ireland won their pool in the 2015 World Cup with a 24-9 victory over France. Okay, but later, I don't know what went wrong with the Irish in this quarterfinal. I mean, I had Ireland winning their first quarterfinal over here. I mean, Argentina were shocking at this point at this point in the rugby spectrum. The quarterfinals, Ireland lost 43-20 to Argentina. Okay. Entering the 2016 Six Nations competition with the squad depleted by injury, Ireland won only 2 matches of the Six Nations tournament. Okay. Then they went on a 3-match tour of South Africa, winning the first match with a red card, where CJ Stander got red carded for a dangerous tackle on Pat Lamb. They won 26-20 before losing the second and the third test 26-32. Their 26-20 victory was their first ever test victory over South Africa on South African soil. Okay. Then, in the autumn internationals that same year, Ireland defeated the All Blacks for the first time ever in Chicago with a 40-29 winning margin. This was New Zealand's only loss of the year and Ireland's first ever victory over the All Blacks. Okay. Please note that victory took 111 years since their first match, which was played in the year 1905. Ireland were then placed second in the 2015 Six Nations behind defending champions England, who the Irish team actually beat in the final round of the Six Nations competition. Okay. This was also what ended England's record-breaking 18-match winning streak run. Okay, I should also do a video on this English side of maybe. Okay. However, they lost to Scotland in round 1 and they lost to Wales in round 4. A development squad was sent for the summer games because majority of their best players were part of the British and Irish Lions. So, and this development squad they had a 55-19 victory over the US, and they would also beat Japan 2-0 in a test series. Okay, and then they moved up to third of the world, and then they moved up to third in the world rankings with 38-3 victory over a team that also played in that end of year. Okay, I'm going to say they beat South Africa 38-3. Okay, let's stick brackets here. After winning the 2018 Six Nations with the Grand Slam, Ireland moved up to second in the world rankings again, with the 2-1 series win over Australia. Okay, this was their first ever series victory in Australia, by the way. Okay, so as we sit here today, the only team that Ireland did not win a series against in their country is South Africa. Look at the facts. Okay, so a 2-1 series win over Australia in Samoa. That year, it was followed by a second victory in 2 years over the world number 1 All Blacks with the 16-9, which cemented Ireland's number 2 ranking and the most accumulated rating points in their history, 91.17. You know that 91.17 points, they haven't even achieved that when they were number 1 under Andy Farrell. Following their success in the Six Nations, the Australia Tour and the Autumn International, Ireland were named 2018 Team of the Year. I'd love to see the 2018 Irish team against Andy Farrell's Irish team. That would be a game. I think Andy Farrell's team would win by 3-4 points maybe. But this was a bloody solid Irish team. In the 2019 Six Nations started with a defeat to England by 32-20. After this, they beat Scotland, Italy and France, but the competition concluded with the loss against eventual Grand Slam winners Wales by 25-7. The Welsh led the Irish 25-0 at half-time. Going into overtime until the last Gob's try from replacement halfback Jordan Lemur, Ireland scored the only points of the match. Ireland would then achieve revenge, and they defeated Wales back-to-back, home and away, in the 2019 World Cup warm-up matches. And back-to-back, home and away, and subsequently going to the 2019 World Cup number 1 in the world. But the 2019 World Cup was disappointing. We all know how that went, okay? They'd literally go from first to fifth in the world. 2020, now this is where the Irish became a team that would actually grow on to be what I call one of the scariest teams in history. 2020 saw Ireland's first Six Nations campaign under former defence coach Andy Farrell. Okay, but it was riddled with COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, they had a mixed season. Okay, in 2021 Six Nations took place again amidst an ongoing pandemic, with spectators still excluded. This made an indifferent campaign, once again finishing third with wins over Italy, Scotland and England, but losing their opening 2 matches to France and eventual champions Wales. Ireland played most of the game against Wales down with 14 men. Okay, but in the autumn series, hold on, 2021 July tests against Japan, the Irish beat USA 71-10. Ireland finished the season with an 8-2 record. The only 2 losses coming in the Six Nations. Ireland opened the 2022 Six Nations campaign with an emphatic 29-7 victory over Wales, only to lose to France 30-24 the next week. They then defeated the ill-disciplined Italy 57-6. Then they got their biggest win over England at Twickenham since 1964, it was a 32-15 victory. In the final of the tournament, Ireland had to win against Scotland, and France had to lose against England in order for Ireland to win the Six Nations Championship. Ireland won the Triple Crown on the final day of the tournament, beating Scotland 25-6, but failed to win the championship after France comfortably beat England 25-13. After losing the opening test match of the New Zealand 2022 tour, Ireland scored their first victory against New Zealand on New Zealand soil, and their fourth win over New Zealand in history. Okay, 3 days later, they followed up their historic victory with the first victory over the Maori All Blacks in 4 attempts, beating the side 24-30 in Wellington. On the 16th of July, Ireland became only the 5th team ever to win a series in New Zealand against the All Blacks. Okay, beating the All Blacks 32-22 in Wellington for a 2-1 series victory. Following that victory, Ireland officially became the #1 team in the world for a second time in history. And Ireland are, if I'm not mistaken, Ireland are only the 4th team ever to have be #1 in the world multiple times. I'll have to research that. On March the 18th, 2023, Ireland won the Grand Slam for the 4th time in a 29-16 victory over England in Dublin. Okay. In September 2023, Ireland opened their 2023 World Cup campaign with their biggest ever win at the Rugby World Cup, beating Romania 82-8. Ireland subsequently won the remaining matches against South Africa and Scotland and Tonga, but unfortunately they lost to the Kiwis. Ireland's 31-7 victory over Wales in the 2024 Six Nations tied England's record, the most consecutive Six Nations victories in a row, 11. Okay. If they didn't get the Grand Slam this year, because they lost to England eventually, and in the last 12 months, I'll be honest with you, Ireland lost the 3 matches in the last 12 months, but that shouldn't mean anything. The only reason why I stopped this here as I did now is because in the present now. But look, let me know what you think in the comment section, guys. And please, if you enjoyed it, like my video and subscribe to my channel. Cheers, guys. Thanks.